10 is a beautiful number. 10 is a beautiful number. 10 is a beautiful number. 60 plus 1, her story, her lesson, and her message. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. And welcome to the garden. Welcome to Garden Conversations with Rose. We're on to another episode of 60 plus 1, her story, her lesson, and of course, her message. But before we get into all of that, I have to go back to June the 7th, 2022. On June the 7th, 2022, in my lovely nature isle, a beautiful young lady, a promising young lady about the age of 11 or 12 would have disappeared under some circumstances that have been very questionable. There have been allegations, there have been accusations, there have been questionable circumstances surrounding her disappearance. And up to this day, we haven't had a clear picture of what would have happened to Carnation. I'm not sure if the case would have gone cold because I haven't heard anything, but I cannot help but think about Carnation on this date. Did she have siblings? What was the interaction like among her and her siblings? What was the family support like? Where were her parents? Did they have a big hand in her upbringing? Why was she living with someone else? What surrounded her upbringing? How did she feel as a young lady? Just what was going on with her? Those are questions I'd really love to have answered. And most importantly, to have some closure as it relates to little Cornisha. Her disappearance brought about a lot of debate, a lot of talk about support of children, about taking care of the youth. There was talk about mental health, a whole host of things that needed some attention. And sadly, again today, in the nation of Trinidad and Tobago, I learned of the untimely passing of a young lady, a young girl, only 12 years old, who went missing yesterday, and today, sadly, her body was found. So many questions. How are we as a society treating our young people, particularly our females? We've got to do better. So let's talk today about siblings and sibling support. I happen to be the ninth of my mother's children. She had 11 of us. One would have died in childbirth, the one after me. And so for many, many years, I was the little sister. So my siblings and my mom, they called me sister. So my nieces and nephews know me as Auntie Sister. When my younger sister came along, because she was the last, she was called Baby. So our nicknames are Baby and Sister. We are called Auntie Baby, Auntie Sister, Baby and Sister by family members and church family. So today I want to highlight the support of siblings, and I am truly grateful. Truly grateful. I've got 10 brothers. They're all older brothers, an older sister, and of course, a younger sister. I have always appreciated my siblings, and I am very, very grateful for all of the support that each of them, in their own different way, would have afforded me at different seasons of my life. Whatever they would have done has had an impact, and I am very grateful. So, of course, my lesson is that the support of siblings make a very big difference. It makes a difference. As siblings go through different phases of their lives and they require different things. Whenever a sibling pops in at whatever time he or she pops in, whatever support and help that is afforded and that's given makes a very big difference. So certainly, of course, my message today to siblings everywhere is that you must always strive to build a positive network, a linkage yourselves, a positive source of support so that when any of you may be going through something, or even if you are going through something together, the support will be there. I want to further state that you need to be conscientious. Think of your sibling. If you know that one of the actions you're going to engage in may affect them in a negative way, if you know that some of the words you're using aren't the best, if you know that an inaction that you are not handling will affect them in a negative manner, please don't follow through. Strive at all times to be good to each other. Of course, it isn't to say that you're not going to be aware of when toxic situations appear and when persons are mean and they drain your mental health. It doesn't mean that you aren't going to take a stand. You have to, of course, by all means. I'm just saying, generally, you must look out for each other so that as your children grow older and they watch and they see what's happening, they too will be able to build that same bond among themselves as cousins and also do the same with their own siblings. I'm hoping that my own children, my beautiful queen, and my two handsome kings will continue the trend that I've noticed and seen among them, where they really are supportive. It would totally break my heart to know that they aren't able to do that. Sibling support is key. Sibling support makes a difference. Sibling support is important. Be positive, be conscientious, be caring, and of course, be kind at all times to each other. Have a blessed day and look out for the garden as we continue our trend on 60 plus 1, her story, her lesson, and of course, her message.